Hello everybody, my name is Jim Shearer, and welcome to In Defense Of, the show that defends the most questionable decisions in the history of pop culture. On today's episode, I'm going to defend Billy Squier's 1984 music video, Rock Me Tonite. Now, I'm not going to try to convince you that it's a good music video, because it's not. But public opinion will have you believe that this singular music video destroyed the career of Billy Squier. One music video destroying the career of someone as talented as Billy Squier? I don't buy that for 1 second, and I will vigorously dispute that claim today. Now, before we proceed, I ask that all of you have clear eyes and open minds as I present the facts. Wanting to stretch his creative freedom as a solo artist, Billy Squier parted ways with his band Piper, who released 2 albums in the 1970s and actually opened up for Kiss. In 1980, Squier released his debut album, Tale of the Tape, which spent 3 months on the Billboard 200. Its opening track, The Big Beat, curiously became one of the most used samples in hip-hop history, although according to Squier, that massive big beat is actually him thumping away on a snare drum case with a microphone locked inside of it. A year later, Squier became a household name when he released his sophomore album, Don't Say No, which boasted hit singles like In the Dark, My Kinda Lover, and The Stroke. In 1982, the momentum kept right on rolling for Squier when he released his 3rd studio album, Emotions in Motion, which, like Don't Say No, also went multi-platinum. In 1984, Billy Squier released his 3rd consecutive platinum album, Signs of Life, which featured his best charting single, Rock Me Tonite, peaking at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. Prior to the album being released, MTV, whose popularity rose to unprecedented heights in the early 1980s, made an arrangement with Squier to world premiere his brand new music video. Squier's concept for Rock Me Tonite was one where he depicted himself and his followers readying themselves for a rock and roll show, documenting the bond between artist and fan. At first, Bob Giraldi, who directed Michael Jackson's Beat It music video, agreed to direct the clip, but later dropped off the project. Squier claims that Giraldi expressed reservations about the concept, claiming it was not something he would want his children to see. Mick Kleber, an executive at Capitol Records, claims that Giraldi would have directed the music video if the record label would have given him a bigger budget. Squier's management then approached David Mallet, who had directed a slew of hit music videos, including David Bowie's Let's Dance, Def Leppard's Rock of Ages, and Billy Idol's White Wedding. Mallet came up with his own concept and brought his storyboards to Squier, which depicted the singer riding into a diner mounted on top of a white stallion. Upon seeing this, Squier dismissed Mallet from the project. As the MTV deadline loomed, Billy Squier's girlfriend suggested that he work with choreographer Kenny Ortega, who directed the Pointer Sisters music video, I'm So Excited. Squier agreed to work with Ortega, and the music video was shot on a Los Angeles soundstage 2 weeks before the scheduled MTV world premiere. Kenny Ortega's and Billy Squier's creative outlooks for Rock Me Tonite clashed. Allegedly, Ortega envisioned the film Risky Business, while Squier envisioned the film American Gigolo. Upon the music video's release, Squier claims that his live concerts stopped selling out, and later said that the video misrepresented him. Within a month, he fired both of his managers, pulled the video from MTV, and then released a performance music video for his next single, All Night Long. Following Signs of Life, Billy Squier signed a new record deal with Capitol and began working on his next studio album, Enough Is Enough, which was produced by Peter Collins. In the studio, their working relationship frayed, as Squier preferred the spontaneity of recording live tracks, while Collins preferred to focus on each instrument and band member separately. Squier called the sessions soulless, and the album failed to go platinum. Squier released his final 3 studio albums in the 1990s, but when grunge broke in the early part of the decade, it ushered in a new era of music while bringing an end to another one. have something for all of you to think about right now. What if Billy Squier peaked in 1984? Because if you listen to his catalog after 1984, there are some catchy songs, but there is nothing that comes close to matching the caliber of material that he was releasing in the early 1980s. Just something to think about. Now, on this show, in Defensive, we present both sides of the story. So right now, it is time for the opposing argument for those of you who still feel that Rock Me Tonight ended Billy Squier's career. In 1984, Billy Squier released his third consecutive platinum album, Signs of Life. A year prior, Billy Squier headlined an arena tour, which was supported by Def Leppard. Yeah, that's right, Def Leppard opened up for Billy Squier. Squier was amassing a string of hits, which were all worshipped by his working-class blue-collar fan base. It was the perfect type of music to blast on your tape deck while washing your car in the driveway. Not only did Billy Squier have the stroke, but he also had the Midas touch. Anything he touched turned to gold. Well, actually, platinum. But all of that ended when he released the music video for Rock Me Tonight. Many music videos have made careers, but this is the first and maybe only music video that killed one. Most music pundits agree that it is the worst music video of all time. In less than 5 minutes, everything Billy Squier worked so hard for was gone. Fans questioned his masculinity, and everything that happened in this music video, from its poor fashion sense to those silk sheets to the writhing on the floor, were all things that could not be unseen. Billy Squier's fan base turned on him, his live shows stopped selling out, and he would never sell another platinum album again. Instead of being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like many of his contemporaries, Squier was relegated to rock and roll purgatory. And it all began after the release of his music video, Rock Me Tonight. I just want to say that when it was time to follow up Signs of Life, the album that features Rock Me Tonight, Billy Squier released Enough Is Enough, the weakest album of his career. Even he has called it sterile. And by the time he rebounded, it was too late, because 1991 hit. The world of hard rock was giving us music like this. Take my hand, rock to never, never land. The world of alternative rock was giving us music like this. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away. Even though thoughts are red like butterflies, clap the lights down. It's dangerous. You ain't on now. And Billy Squier was still giving us music like this. Metallica may have performed Mr. Sandman, but Nirvana was Mr. Sandman for many a mainstream rock act from the 1980s, and not just Billy Squier. Now, if I still haven't convinced you that Rock Me Tonight did not end Billy Squier's career, I will prove it right now with my 4 pillars of justice. Pillar of justice number 1. Foreshadowing of flamboyance. If you were a Billy Squier fan in the early 1980s and his Rock Me Tonight music video truly shocked you, you just weren't paying attention. Billy Squier has always had a proclivity for flamboyance. Look at the cover art for his debut album, Tale of the Tape. Look at the music video, The Big Beat. Do these dance moves look familiar? See, even before Rock Me Tonight, Billy Squier liked to rock the tank top. And look at this concert footage. It's like the personification of the Rock Me Tonight music video. Here's Billy Squier performing live on TV wearing an unzipped jumpsuit. Listen, most of our favorite rock stars are flamboyant. Don't deny it, embrace it. And if you need further proof, one of Billy Squier's frequent collaborators was Freddie Mercury. Guess who designed the album cover for Emotions in Motion? The king of flamboyance, Andy Warhol. Just because Billy Squier had a blue-collar fan base doesn't mean that he couldn't get his freak on and dance around in his bedroom. Billy Squier gave us clues. You guys just weren't paying attention. Pillar of Justice number 2, chart position. The highest charting single of Billy Squier's career is Rock Me Tonite, which peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 on September 8th, 1984, over 2 months after the release of his Rock Me Tonite music video. So if that horrible video truly killed his career, why did the single keep climbing the charts? And I should also point out that his next 2 singles off of Signs of Life also charted on the Billboard Hot 100. Pillar of Justice number 3, new record deal. After Billy Squier released Signs of Life, his record deal with Capitol Records was over. So if he was truly musical kryptonite, this would have been a perfect time for Capitol Records to walk away. Instead, they signed him to a brand new 7-year deal. Record labels, especially the one that is home to the Beatles and the Beach Boys, don't give out max contracts to artists who have no career. Now you may be asking, well, if Capitol Records gave him a new contract, how come he never had another big hit? I have an explanation. In the late 80s and early 90s, Capitol Records went through multiple leadership changes. So with no clear sense of direction, Billy Squier was left to fend for himself. And don't forget that back in 1989, Capitol Records famously dropped the ball on the Beastie Boys' sophomore album, Paul's Boutique. In 1989, it was considered a commercial failure. In 2003, Rolling Stone magazine named it one of the best albums of all time. And let's face it, once the early 1990s hit, Billy Squier was no longer a priority for Capitol Records. This artist was.
Can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Even though we said please, Hammer still hurt him. And that brings us to our 4th and final pillar of justice. Most 80s videos were bad. If one music video could end a career, then nobody would have survived the 1980s. Look at this garbage spewing forth in front of you right now. These videos are terrible, and it makes sense because it was an infantile medium. Oh my gosh! Look at this! It's garbage! All right, hold up. One more question. We crucify Billy Squier, but how are Mick Jagger and David Bowie still able to have careers after this music video? Dancing in the Street is arguably worse than Rock Me Tonite. How could 2 guys who helped to create cool look the exact opposite of it? I will tell you why. Because if you are a talented artist with hit songs, one bad music video cannot kill your career. And one bad music video did not end Billy Squier's. History has a way of creating these false narratives. Did Bill Buckner lose the 1986 World Series, or did the Red Sox not respond with proper vigor in Game 7? The demise of Billy Squier's popularity can be blamed on many things. There were decisions that didn't go his way. There were creative clashes with his record label. There was the emergence of mainstream hip-hop and alternative rock. And don't forget that Billy Squier chose not to release any new material after the 1990s. But it is unfair to reduce Billy Squier's entire career to one bad music video. Don't forget that in the early 1980s, as a solo act, Billy Squier was thriving in an era dominated by bands. And for a time, Billy Squier was one of the premier triple threats in rock and roll music, that being a singer, songwriter, and guitarist. If the gods of rock music had any sense of justice, they would give Billy Squier his much-deserved induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But that will not happen until the court of public opinion can put his Rock Me Tonight music video to bed under the silk sheets from which it came. Thank you for watching In Defense Of. I'm Jim Shearer, reminding you to never mistake a loud opinion for a fact.